The letter that shouldn't exist. Hey, night listener. Tonight, we enter the shadows. Rain taps against the window like nervous fingers. A single street lamp flickers outside, casting the room in a slow strobe of amber and dark. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wails, then cuts off mid-howl. You haven't slept much, not since the letter came. It's lying there now, on the kitchen counter. White envelope, no return address, just your name, handwritten in a style too neat to be yours. When you first opened it, you assumed it was a prank, maybe one of those viral confession games people play online. But the moment your eyes scanned the opening line, your blood turned to sleet. I did it, and I'm sorry. I know I can never make it right. The handwriting is yours, your signature at the bottom. Yours, too. But you never wrote it. You knew, but pretended you didn't. The name of the victim listed in the confession, Lena Doran, age 34. Reported missing 6 weeks ago. Presumed dead. You've never met her. At least, you don't think you have. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You check the letter again looking for some clue, some mistake. But it reads like a legal document. Times, places, motive, even specific details from the police report. Things only the killer or someone very close could know. And then there's the final line. If you're reading this, it means I finally did the right thing. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You rush to your laptop and search her name. News articles pop up. Candlelight vigils. A reward for any information. A suspect sketch blurry. Vague, but the hairline, the shape of the jaw. It's you. No, not exactly you. Close. Close enough to panic. Close enough to pass in shadow. Or from a witness's shaking memory. But the eyes, those aren't yours. You pace the apartment. The letter still trembles in your hand. You didn't write this. But if you didn't, who did you check the mailbox again? Maybe another clue. And that's when you see it. Across the street, second floor window, a light flickers on. A silhouette leans against the curtain, watching you, not moving, not hiding, and behind them, in the blur of rain and distance, a woman's shape. She moves, barely, but enough to prove one thing. The victim isn't dead. Lena Doran is alive, and she's standing in that window, which means this letter, your confession, was never meant to explain a murder. It was meant to trigger one, the victim with open eyes. You leave the letter on the counter still open, still humming like static in your veins. The rain smears your reflection in the glass as you lock the front door behind you. Pull your coat tight and step into the street. You don't know what you're walking toward, only that she saw you, and you saw her. The apartment across the street is in one of those older buildings pre-war. Brick facade, crooked iron balcony, the kind of place where secrets ferment in the walls and neighbors mind their business too hard. You press the buzzer. No response. No nameplate for the second floor. You try the front door. Locked. But a woman exiting with groceries gives you a quick nod and holds it open. You smile with guilt stitched into your cheeks and mutter something that sounds like thanks. The stairwell smells like dust and old water damage. Your shoes creak on every third step. The lights overhead buzz and dim as you climb. By the time you reach the second floor, your breath feels like it belongs to someone else. The hallway is empty, 3 doors. No noise, except for the sound of something soft dragging across carpet, like a bare foot or a body. You knock. No answer. You knock again, louder this time. Still nothing. Your hand drifts to the doorknob. Against every reasonable instinct, you twist it, unlocked. Inside, the apartment feels paused, like someone stepped out mid-sentence. A kettle cools on the stove. The air smells like rosewater and scorched toast. You whisper Lena's name into the silence, but it falls flat, too soft, too late. Then you see it. A chair facing the window, a jacket still warm, draped over the back and taped to the glass from the inside a Polaroid. It's grainy, underexposed, but it shows the view from this very room across the street. Your apartment window in frame, and standing in it, you. Same coat, same phase, different time. You step back, pulse jackhammering in your ears, and that's when you hear the breath behind you. Low, intentional. You spin, but no one's there. Just an old hallway mirror, cracked through the middle, your reflection staggered by the fracture. One version of you staring back, the other twisted into something you don't recognize. You knew, but pretended you didn't. A photograph lies on the floor, half tucked under the couch. You pick it up. It's Lena, smiling, alive. Dated 2 weeks ago after her reported death. In the corner of the image, a shadow, barely visible, watching her from behind. Your fingers tremble, not from fear, from recognition. It's your shadow, but not from this moment. From memory. Suddenly, footsteps echo in the hallway. You bolt out the door, glancing both ways. Nothing, except the sound of something slipping into the stairwell below. You follow fast, silent, paranoid. Each floor down feels slower than the last. You hit the lobby. The front door hangs open. The street's empty now. Only the rain remains, thickening, soaking your collar and trailing down your back like fingers. You turn to leave, and then you see it, carved into the wooden panel by the door. One word, confessed, fresh, still flaking at the edges. You run your finger along it. The cut is shallow, but your fingertip comes back red, not from the wood, from you. The glass in the apartment, the photograph's edge, somewhere. You must have sliced your hand. That's what you tell yourself. That's what you need to believe. Because the alternative, the blood's not yours at all. The glove in your closet. You don't go straight home. You take the long way, winding through alleys slick with rain, past shuttered bakeries and closed-up corner stores. Every step echoes louder than it should. Every car that slows feels like it's trailing you. You glance at windows, looking for her face, or your own. You're not sure which would be worse. By the time you reach your apartment, the envelope is still exactly where you left it open, waiting, like it knows more than you do. You peel off your coat and throw it over the chair, and that's when you notice the smear of red across the sleeve. Faint, almost missed it, but it's there. You check your hand again. The tiny cut is real, barely visible, but the amount of blood doesn't match. It never does in stories like this. You pull open your closet to grab a towel, old habit, old drawer. That's when something drops from the top shelf. A leather glove, black, smooth, left hand only. You stare at it like it might breathe. You don't own gloves like this, not this pair, not this style. But when you touch it, something clicks in your chest, a memory blurry, something about a cold night, a hotel stairwell, and a woman who whispered your name before disappearing through a fire door. Your fingers slip into the glove. It fits perfectly. Of course it does. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Your phone buzzes, a blocked number. No caller ID. You freeze, let it ring. On the fourth buzz, your curiosity wins. You answer. A man's voice, raspy, familiar in a way that makes your teeth clench. Why do you keep it? Keep what? The glove, the girl, the guilt, then silence. You don't realize you're shaking until the phone hits the floor. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You turn back to the closet. Beneath the shelf, where the glove fell from, you see something else now. A folded receipt, weathered and soft, like it's been touched 1,000 times. You unfold it. A dry cleaning ticket. Your name, dated the day after Lena's disappearance. You never dry clean anything. You trace the address someplace across town, near the industrial district. Your phone vibrates again. Another message. Just a photo. You open it. The same black glove, only this time it's on Lena's hand, and she's holding a key to what you don't know. But you do know this: she's leading you somewhere, and you're already too far in to stop following. The apartment creaks behind you. You glance toward the hallway mirror again, still cracked. But now you're not in it. Only the hallway. Only absence. Only silence. The voice on the recorder. You leave the apartment like it's burning behind you. Glove in your pocket. Receipt in hand. Paranoia in your chest. The streets are a little too quiet. A little too clean. Even the puddles seem arranged, like they're trying to reflect something you're supposed to see. You head toward the address on the dry cleaning ticket, an old part of the city where the neon signs have long since gone dead, and every building looks like it has a past that smells like rust and dust. The shop is closed. A cracked window shows a room full of yellowed clothes in plastic bags, like ghosts hung out to dry. You circle around the back. There's a delivery door, locked, but above it, a loose ventilation grate dangles, barely secured by a single screw. You don't even think about it. You just climb. Inside, the building groans like it remembers you, but that's impossible. You drop into the back hallway, dusting yourself off. No alarms, no cameras, no lights. The back room's cluttered racks of forgotten clothes, shelves of receipts, a stack of old electronics, and on the counter a small digital voice recorder. It's facing you, like it's been waiting. You press play. Your voice fills the room. I didn't mean to hurt her. I just needed her to stop. She knew too much. Your mouth dries out. You never said those words. Not out loud. Not ever. But it's you. Same voice, same tone, same breath pattern. You rewind, play again. This time, you notice something behind the voice. A soft humming, mechanical, familiar. You press pause, pull the recorder closer. The humming isn't just background noise. It's the clock in your apartment. The one that's been broken for months. And yet, in this recording, it ticks. Tick, tick, tick. Too loud, too present. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You scan the shelves. Behind the broken stereo system, you find a box labeled unclaimed. Inside clothes, mostly men's, all sagged with dates. One catches your eye. A charcoal coat just like yours. You pull it out. In the inner pocket, a photo strip. One of those cheap black and white sets from a photo booth. Lena again, smiling, laughing. Next to her, you, or someone who looks like you, close enough to fool a camera. Only this time, the last frame shows her looking scared, looking at him, at you. You flip the strip over. One word written in ink. Confess. Same handwriting as the letter. You slide the strip into your coat. The recorder crackles. You didn't touch it. A new voice distorted. Low. Mechanical. You were there. You just don't remember. You drop the recorder. It hits the concrete with a shatter of plastic and silence. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You turn to leave, but the door's already open. You didn't open it. And on the other side stands the man from the street. Grey coat, gloves, the same jawline as yours, only older, only colder. He doesn't speak. He just holds something out. Another envelope. You take it. He vanishes down the alley before you can follow. The envelope isn't sealed. You open it. Inside is a list. Typed, clinical. Victim Dina. Doran. Suspect you witness. Redacted evidence. Voice confession. Secnos 4. Status inconclusive. And scribbled in red ink beneath it. Rehearse again. You reread the last line. Not repeat. Rehearse. As if this whole thing's been staged, practiced, directed. You look around the dry cleaner's back room again, and suddenly it feels like a set. Too perfect, too familiar, too prepared. And the worst part, you feel like you've been here before. More than once, the stranger who knows too much. You step out of the dry cleaner's back entrance like you're exiting a fever dream. The air hits your skin differently, too cold for the season, too sharp to be real. You check the street, but the man in the grey coat is gone, like he was never there. But the envelope is real. The voice on the recorder was real. The list said one word you can't shake. Rehearse. And now the shadows aren't just dark. They're dense, like they're watching you back. You head toward the subway, less for the destination, more for the movement. You just need to be around people, around anyone who isn't your double, or your dead but not dead, almost victim. It's late. The station is mostly empty. A few stragglers wait by the far end of the platform, but you stay close to the edge, under the security camera. You want to be seen, documented, as if that could save you. That's when he sits down beside you. You didn't see where he came from. He's in his 30s, hoodie pulled low, scar along his cheek like a comma in a sentence you don't want to read. He smells like cigarettes and damp cloth, and he says your name, not hey, not excuse me, your name, flat, inevitable. You turn to him slowly. He's already looking at you. So, how do you get away with it? No sarcasm, no fear. Like it's a greeting. You stare. He grins. Relax. I'm not a cop. He reaches into his coat. You flinch, but all he pulls out is a small silver key. Dull, unmarked, but identical to the one Lena was holding in the photo you got earlier. He tosses it into your lap. You dropped this last time. What do you mean, last time? It's always the same with you. You forget. You dig. You run. You find the key. And then, well, depends on the version. You knew, but pretended you didn't. He points to your coat pocket, the one where you stashed the photo, strip. You should burn that. How do you know what I gave? Because you always carry it. You need it. Proof that you're not crazy. The problem is, it's a problem. One of many. You stand up, the bench screeching beneath you. Who are you? Doesn't matter. You called me here. Whether you know it or not. I didn't. You did. You started the loop again the second you opened that envelope. He smiles wider. You wrote the confession, then buried it so deep, even you forgot. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You glance at the key, still in your lap, still cold. You pick it up. That opens something you don't want opened. He says, but you'll do it anyway. You always do. The train screeches into the station, scattering your thoughts. He stands up, nods toward the doors. Your stop's next. Don't miss it this time. You blink. He's gone. You look up and down the platform. Empty. No footsteps. No sound. You board the train. Heart thumping. Your reflection stares back at you in the window, but something's off. The crack in the mirror back home, it's here now, in the glass, running right through your face. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. As the train rolls forward, you look at the key in your palm again. It's different now. Something engraved on the side that wasn't there before. For Lena, the mirror that didn't reflect. The train lurches through the tunnel, lights flickering like they're stuttering between dimensions. You watch the reflection of the passengers in the opposite window, blank, motionless, faceless in the darkened glass. Then your own, except it's not your reflection anymore. It's you, but not now. You're wearing the same coat, the same face, but you're smiling, cold, confident, as if you've already seen what's coming next, as if you wrote it. And then the reflection blinks, but you don't. You tear your gaze away, grip tightening around the key. For Lena, you run your thumb over the engraving, feel the tiny grooves like braille for secrets you're not ready to read. It was never about the truth. It was about control. The train screeches to your stop, and you're moving before the doors fully open. The platform is deserted. Pale light spills down onto the tiles like moonlight through prison bars. You walk quickly toward the exit. You don't know where you're going, but your feet seem to, like muscle memory from a dream you've had too many times. Up the stairs, into the street, and across from the entrance, like a dark mouth waiting to speak, is your therapist's office. You haven't been here in months, maybe longer. The building's familiar in a way that makes your stomach ache. The lights are off, but the door is slightly ajar. Of course it is. You step inside. The waiting room is silent, dim. That soft lavender scent they always used is still thick in the air, something meant to relax you, now making you nauseous. You call out. No answer, but the door to the private office is open. 2. You step through, and you stop breathing. In the middle of the room stands the mirror, tall, antique, the one that always faced away from you during your sessions. You assumed it was decorative. It's not. Tonight, it's angled directly at you, but you're not in it. Nothing is. Just an empty room reflected back. You move closer. Wave your hand. Nothing. You touch the glass, cold, and then a single image blooms in the reflection slowly, like a developing photo. It's Lena, standing in the room behind you. You whirl around. Nothing. You turn back. Now the mirror shows her sitting in the therapy chair, face bruised, eyes distant, mouth moving, but there's no sound. And then the whisper, "You did this." The words aren't from the mirror. They're inside you. You back away, but the door behind you slams shut. You rush to it, locked, in the panic. Your elbow knocks a stack of folders off the desk. They scatter across the floor. Case notes, transcripts. You grab one at random. Patient D. Marshall. Diagnosis, dissociative amnesia. Therapist. Notes, unstable relationship with subject L. Potential trauma bonding. Evidence of manipulation. Self-deception. Likely. Session recording redacted. You flip through the pages. Some are blacked out. Others contain drawings, your drawings, of Lena's face, her eyes wide, her mouth sewn shut. You drop the file. Something in the mirror moves again. Your reflection is back now. Only your eyes are blacked out, scribbled through with ink. You knew, but pretended you didn't. A ticking sound fills the room. Your eyes dart around. There, on the bookshelf, a small metronome. Tick, tick, tick. You hadn't noticed it before, and it's in sync with the recording from the cleaner. You step toward it. It stops, and in the new silence, something slides under the door. You crouch. It's another photo. You and Lena. This time she's not smiling. She's crying. And written in thick marker across the image. Ask her what you forgot. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You look up. The mirror is empty again. No reflection. No Lena. Just the faint outline of a door drawn on the glass. And beneath it, the same key you're still holding. A perfect match. The photograph you never took, you lift the key slowly. Like it might bite. The weight of it feels heavier now. Like it's absorbed something from the mirror. The outline of the drawn door on the glass remains faint, yet impossibly exact framed, like a portal waiting to be unlocked. Your breath fogs the glass as you press the key toward it. Nothing happens. Of course it doesn't. It's just a drawing. You feel ridiculous until you pull your hand away and notice something different. Your breath hasn't faded. It's still there on the glass, frozen, suspended, and in the center of the fog, a handprint appears, small, feminine, pressed against the other side of the mirror. You step back, heart in your throat, and then, behind you, a soft clatter. You spin. A picture frame has fallen from the desk, glass cracked, corner bent. You pick it up. It's a photograph of you. At least, it looks like you. You're standing in a motel room. Cheap wallpaper. One lamp on the nightstand. A figure lies on the bed, partially obscured. Your eyes narrow. It's Lena, face turned away, hair splayed across the pillow. Still, too still. You flip the photo over. The back reads, Room 3 to 12. You took this, but you didn't. You've never been in that motel. You've never seen that room. Yet, as you stare at the image longer, fragments start to unstick in your mind. The click of a camera, the scent of motel disinfectant, a trembling hand, your hand. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You set the frame down, fingers trembling. The drawer in the therapist's desk now sits slightly ajar, though you're sure it was closed moments ago. You pull it open. Inside, there's a folder marked Mirror, Test Sessions. Inside that, more photos, Polaroids, all of them of you, sitting in this office, wearing different clothes, different days, but always the same pose, same empty expression, the same mirror behind you. And in every photo, Lena is visible just over your shoulder, sometimes smiling, sometimes screaming. One has her pressed flat against the mirror glass, palms wide, mouth open in a silent scream. You were never meant to see these. At the bottom of the folder, a note clipped to a final image. Confession rehearsal complete. Subject unaware. Mirror response inconsistent. Cycle continues. You stagger back. Your phone buzzes. A message. No name, just coordinates. And a message beneath where you took her, where you left her. Room 3 to 12. You knew, but pretended you didn't. The photograph you never took. Maybe you did. Maybe you just weren't yourself when you took it. You pocket the picture. Turn toward the mirror again. The handprint is gone. The key is cold. And from somewhere far off, maybe inside you, a familiar voice whispers, "You said you'd never go back, but you left something behind." You step out of the office, into the rain. You don't look back. Because for the first time, you're starting to wonder, what if you've been the suspect all along? The clock that ticked too loud. You reach the motel at midnight, the kind of place that rents by the hour and pretends not to know why. Neon vacancy signs sputtering. Windows sag behind yellowed curtains. You don't ask questions at motels like this. You survive them. The lobby's empty. No desk clerk. No security camera. Just a faint smell of bleach and regret. and a bell that dares you to ring it. You don't. Room 312 is on the third floor, far end of the hall. The walk feels longer than it should. Your footsteps thud against the threadbare carpet like war drums. Doors are shut tight on either side. You pass one with a strange sound, leaking through breathing, crying you don't stop to check. When you reach the door, your hand hesitates. There's a smear on the handle, faint, oily, like a palm print left too long. You fit the key into the lock. It turns without resistance. The door creaks open. Inside, it's exactly like the photograph. Lamp still crooked, wallpaper still peeling, everything preserved like a frozen crime scene. But no body on the bed, no Lena, just the ticking, loud, obsessive, invasive. A vintage grandfather clock stands in the corner, out of place like a corpse in a school photo. It ticks louder than it should, like it's wired to your nerves, like it knows you're here. Tick, tick, tick. You step inside. It feels like walking into your own unfinished thought. On the bed lies a recorder, same model as the one from the cleaner. You press play. He said he wouldn't hurt me, that I'd forget this part, that I always forget. It's her voice, Lena, soft, shaky. The next line is different, deeper, yours, but slurred, emotionless. Don't scream. We need this to look real. You freeze. The door slams shut behind you. You whirl. No one there. But the light flickers once, then steadies. You move toward the nightstand. Another envelope waits. Of course it does. Inside a single photograph. This time, Lena is looking straight at the camera. No fear, just defiance. And behind her, barely visible in the mirror over the bed, is you, wearing the same coat, holding the same key, eyes hollow. You flip the photo over. No words this time, just a fingerprint. Yours. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You sit on the edge of the bed, the mattress groaning beneath you like it remembers. You try to breathe, but the ticking fills your skull. Tick, tick, tick. The clock's hands spin faster now, not forward, backward, rewinding. The moment you notice, the recorder begins to play in reverse. Lena's voice comes back warped, desperate. Me, save, please. He's not. Your voice overlaps. Meant to, meant to, meant to. And then silence. Then one final line. Reset. If found, initiate room 9. The recorder dies. The light bulb pops. The room goes dark except for the glow from the clock face. It now reads 3:12. A time you haven't forgotten, because it's when the confession letter was time-stamped. You check your phone 3:12 a.m. You aren't just repeating moments, you're living them again, and each time the mirror reflects less and the voice says more. It was never about the truth, it was about control and the ticking. It isn't a clock anymore, it's a countdown. To what? You don't know. But as you open the nightstand drawer and see what's inside, another glove, a second photograph, a burner phone, still powered on, you start to think, what if this isn't the first time you've come here? What if it's not even the 100th, the alibi that vanished? You stare at the contents of the drawer like they're about to rearrange themselves into meaning. Second glove, right hand this time. Same leather, same size. A perfect match to the one you found in your closet. You lay it beside the first in your mind's eye, and together they feel like a uniform. Something worn, something rehearsed. You lift the photograph next. New setting, different lighting, a diner, Maybe midnight chrome and checkered tiles. Lena sits in a booth, head turned, staring at someone across from her. Someone the camera didn't catch, but you know who it was. You flip it over. Scrawled on the back in the same red ink. Ask him why he stopped answering. Your stomach knots. You remember someone else. A name forming like fog at the edge of your memory. The one who vouched for you when the first rumors of Lena's disappearance surfaced. The one who said you were with him that night. Aaron. You haven't seen him since. You told the cops he was your alibi. You gave them his number. They never found him. Said it was disconnected. No trace, no record, not even a face. You search your phone now, scrolling back through old texts, old call logs, hoping for something to appear. Nothing. It's like he never existed. You knew, but pretended you didn't. The burner phone buzzes, no ringtone, just a pulsing screen with one new message. You shouldn't have lied for him. You freeze. It's not to you. It's from Lena. And suddenly, the silence in the room tightens thick like wet cotton in your throat. You glance at the photo again. Zoom in. There's a reflection in the salt shaker on the table. A man's hand, reaching across. There's something inked into the skin. A symbol. A jagged circle with 3 slashes through it. You've seen it before. On Aaron, inside his wrist. Back when he bled just enough to make you promise not to ask. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You pocket the burner. Slide the gloves on without meaning to. They feel familiar, natural, like you were never meant to take them off. You step out of room 312 and into the hallway, but it's different now. Longer, dimmer. A red light blinks at the end. Above a door marked Room 9. The same room mentioned in the reversed tape. If found, initiate Room 9. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You reach for the handle. Your hand trembles. Behind the door movement, a slow scrape, a shadow pacing, a voice low, too low to make out. You knock. Nothing. You knock again. This time, the voice stops. The door creaks open an inch. Darkness within. And then, from inside, Aaron's not here, but he left you something. The voice doesn't sound human. Or maybe it's just what's behind it. A screen lights up inside the room. You step through the door, into a black space shaped like memory. The screen plays a video. Surveillance footage. You entering a building. A stairwell. A hallway. A door. Room 312. Different night. Different clothes. Lena following close behind. The timestamp reads 3 days before her reported death. But you don't remember it. And then the clip changes. Aaron, holding something in his hand. A small vial. A needle. He says your name. You'll forget. That's the only way this works. The footage freezes. A voice in the dark says, your alibi was never about truth. He made you forget what you did. Your knees weaken. You press your back to the wall, searching the dark for something, anything stable. A flickering light reveals a mirror in the corner. Of course, you approach it, but this one shows no room, no face, no Lena, just a message. There is no alibi, only choices, and scrawled beneath it, barely visible. Rehearse again. The detective who plays dumb. You leave room 9 like the walls are closing behind you. Whatever just happened, whatever was revealed, you can't hold it all in your head at once. Like trying to stare straight into a strobe light. Some details burn too bright to stay. The gloves remain on your hands, clinging like second skin. The burner phone buzzes once more in your pocket. But you don't look. Not yet. Outside, dawn has begun to bleach the sky, pale and ghostly. The kind of morning that doesn't bring warmth just visibility. You walk until the motel fades behind you, until your legs scream from exhaustion. Then you see him, leaning against a patrol car like he owns the pavement. Detective Ryland. He's not in uniform. Never is. Civilian clothes, dark trench coat, 2 clean shoes. He looks like a man who knows things no one writes down. You've seen him before. Once, briefly. The night you tried to file a report about the letter. He didn't believe you. Or maybe he did, and just wanted to see what you'd do next. You slow your approach. He doesn't look up, just speaks as you near. Long night. You say nothing. Don't worry. No cameras on this block. You're not here. Officially. You nod. Throat tight. Tell me something, he says, finally meeting your eyes. Do you remember what Lena looked like when she was afraid of you? The question hits harder than a slap. You swallow. No. You said that last time. You freeze. What last time? Last cycle. Last version. You always say that line first. He pulls out a pack of cigarettes. Offers one. You decline. Do you believe in loops? Marshall feedback cycles. The kind where people don't learn. They just rerun. I didn't do it. You say, automatically. Didn't do. What? He lets the question dangle like bait. You ever wonder why Lena's body was never found? You look up sharply. What do you mean? Was, he shrugs. Official story is she vanished. No prints, no signs of struggle. Just a witness sketch that looks an awful lot like you. You feel the photo strip in your coat pocket. The one of you both. The final frame, her fear. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. Funny thing is, Ryland continues, we had someone who saw her after she was declared dead, swore she was alive, confused, bruised, scared, said she kept repeating a name. You brace yourself. Yours. He pulls out a folded paper from his coat, hands it to you. It's your signed confession, the same one that showed up in your mailbox, same ink, same signature, but dated 5 years ago. We found this in evidence lockup. No file attached. No context. Just the letter. The lab says the ink's aging matches the date. That's impossible. I know, he says. You stare at him. Then why are you showing me this? Now. Ryland's expression turns unreadable. Because you've started remembering. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You unfold the letter again, and this time there's an extra line at the bottom, scribbled in smaller handwriting beneath your signature. If I ever come back to this, stop me. Your own handwriting, shaky, unstable. He watches you carefully. So, are we stopping you? Or are we just watching the next performance? You look at him. Which are you? I'm just the audience. Always have been. He turns to leave, then pauses. Oh, one more thing. He pulls something from his pocket, tosses it to you. A watch. Old, heavy, still ticking. You dropped this in room 312. It's stuck on the same time. You look, 312. You don't ask how he got it. You just slide it into your pocket. And now, you're sure of something. It was never about the truth. It was about control. And whoever's writing this story, you're not the only one holding the pen, the ink beneath your skin. You walk with the watch ticking in your pocket, its weight pulling at your coat like an anchor trying to remind you that time matters, but the ticking doesn't match the seconds. It's too fast, then too slow, then perfectly still. It ticks like memory. By the time you reach your apartment, morning has swallowed the last of the shadows. But sunlight doesn't comfort you. It interrogates. You close the door behind you, bolt it, then slide the chain into place, like that ever kept the dark out. Your reflection stares back at you from the hallway mirror cracked. As always, except today, you look longer. There's something new on your neck, just beneath your collarbone, faded but visible in the right light ink. You tear your shirt open, step into the bathroom, tilt your neck toward the mirror. It's a tattoo, handwritten script. Confess, your breath stutters. The skin around it is pale, untouched, not recent. This has been there. You've just never seen it. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You run your fingers across the word, but there's no pain, only cold recognition. A phrase from your own letters, a word written on photos, carved into motel doors, whispered through reversed tapes. Confess, your phone rings, not the burner, your real one, unknown number. You hesitate, then answer. Lena's voice, clear, steady, cold. Do you remember the syringe? You don't reply. You told me it was temporary, that I'd forget, that we'd forget. You grip the sink with your free hand, eyes locked on the word beneath your skin. I didn't forget. She hangs up, and you drop the phone. It was never about the truth. It was about control. You stumble into the living room, and that's when you see the clock, the one from your wall, ticking again. 3:12. The second hand jumps erratically. The hour hand doesn't move. You step closer and notice a slip of paper resting inside the glass face behind the hands. You smash it open. The note reads, left wrist, right memory. You roll up your sleeve. Another tattoo. This one even fainter, almost vanished. A series of numbers. 031 Tulsa Native L D 4. You search your photos. Open the one from room 312 again. The time stamp. March 12th. Your legs give out. You collapse into the chair as the dots begin connecting with sickening clarity. These weren't random clues. They're iterations. This is attempt number 4. Attempt 4 to remember, to confess, to complete the cycle. You rush back into the bathroom, open the cabinet, and there, hidden behind an old bottle of cologne, is a small metal box. You never noticed it before, but your hands open it like they've done it 100 times. Inside a vial, empty, a capped syringe, and a thumb drive marked with a red circle. You plug it into your laptop. One file, a video. You click play. It begins with static, then footage of you sitting in this apartment, staring at the camera, disoriented, pale, and then you speak. If you're watching this, you've hit the wall again. Don't trust the mirror. Don't trust Ryland. Don't even trust me. You laugh, bitterly. You injected her. You rehearsed the fear. And when she tried to leave, you made her disappear. The version of you on the screen leans in, eyes wild, tired, frighteningly lucid. There's a part of you that still wants to be caught. That's why you keep leaving yourself clues. That's why you tattooed it into your skin. The guilt isn't eating you. You're feeding it. So confess, while there's still someone left to hear it. The video ends. Silence. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You look down at your hands. The gloves are gone. You don't remember taking them off. You just know. They've been on for years. The trial that wasn't real. You're still staring at the blank laptop screen when a soft knock raps against your door. Once, twice, then silence. You rise slowly, a body floating in thick liquid. Your fingers brush against the old watch in your coat pocket. Still ticking, still at 3:12. Through the peephole, nothing. But you open the door anyway and find an envelope. No address, no name, only the words, summons to testify. Inside, a folded document, case people versus D. verses, martial charge, premeditated disappearance and psychological harm. Location Eastbrook, courthouse, courtroom 2B date. Today, time 3:12 p.m. The print is clean, the letterhead legitimate. But you've never heard of a courthouse holding trials without arresting the accused first. You stare at the summons like it might blink, then check the time. 2:42 p.m. You're already late. The Eastbrook courthouse isn't listed on any map app, but the taxi driver nods when you mention it, says nothing the whole ride. When you arrive, the building is wrong. Gray brick, featureless, no seal, no flags, just the number 3112 etched into the stone above the entrance. Inside, everything is hushed. No security, no clerks, just a hall that leads directly to courtroom 2B. You push the door open. A courtroom waits, full, silent, faces turned toward you, unmoving, all of them familiar. Some you've seen in memories, others from dreams. The crying woman in the photo strip, the silent man from the train platform, even Ryland, sitting in the jury box, chewing a toothpick like he's heard this story before. But the seat that hollows your gut is the one on the witness stand. Lena, alive, eyes sharp, shoulders steady. She doesn't look away. The judge bangs the gavel once. You're guided to the defendant's chair by no one, and yet you're seated, held in place by the weight of guilt, or something shaped like it. The prosecutor rises, and it's you, or a version of you. Sharper suit, clearer eyes, a mirror, twisted by justice. Let the record show that the defendant has returned to the loop willingly. Whispers ripple through the court. Mr. Marshall, how many times have you denied this? You open your mouth, nothing comes out. You confessed. Not once, but 4 times. Shall we play the tape? He gestures, and the room fills with sound. Your voice, from the video. You injected her. You rehearsed the fear, and when she tried to leave, you made her disappear. The prosecutor turns to the judge, and yet he continues to return, continues to forget, continues to rehearse. The judge finishes. Yes, Your Honor. You look toward Lena. She's holding something in her lap. A photograph. She raises it. The image of you standing in room 312, looking straight into the lens, eyes full of intent. The same photo from your folder. Only this one. She's circled herself in red. You swallow hard. What happens now? You manage. The judge leans forward. Now you finally listen. The prosecutor nods, because this time, the victim will speak. The courtroom lights dim. A spotlight hits the witness stand. Lena rises. Her voice is calm. Even. He told me it would help. That I'd be safe. That the fear wasn't real, just a part I had to play. She holds up a Polaroid. This was rehearsal 3. I screamed then. I fought back. He reset me. She flips the image. On the back, forget again. Try again. Love again. He thought if I couldn't remember, it didn't count. She looks at you, but I did remember. Every time, you feel your breath catch. And he did too. The courtroom falls silent again, and then the clock on the wall chimes. 3:12 p.m. You close your eyes. When you open them, the courtroom is gone. You're in your apartment again, alone. Rain hitting the windows, a mirror across the room, and on the table, in front of you, the envelope, unopened. Again, everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. And maybe this isn't a story about guilt. Maybe it's about how far someone will go to stay innocent, even from themselves. The scent of rain and regret. You don't touch the envelope. Not this time. You just stare at it, lying there like a scab you've picked too many times. The air in the room feels thick with memory, humid with the scent of wet paper, old ink, and something sweeter beneath it. Perfume, faint, floral, familiar. Your breath catches. You haven't smelled that since you stepped toward the hallway. The scent is stronger here, drifting like smoke, curling up from under the bedroom door. You nudge it open. The room is untouched, the bed still made, but there on the pillow is a slip of paper, resting like a dream someone forgot to fold away. You pick it up. You always start remembering here. No signature, no ink bleed, clean edges. Your chest tightens. You back out of the room, eyes scanning everything. Nothing's moved, and yet everything feels arranged. The scent follows you now, clinging to your collar. Rose water, rain, Lena. You step into the living room again. The envelope is gone. In its place, a file folder, cream-colored, thick, too heavy for just paper. You sit down, slowly, and open it. Inside, a photo of Lena, face obscured, time stamped for March 12th, 3:12 a.m. A cassette labeled Session Echo, Cycle 4. A sheet of paper titled Controlled Memory, Suppression Protocol. Subject D. Marshall. Your name. Printed. Stamped. You flip through the contents. Pages of clinical language, diagrams of the brain, injection protocols, a chart mapping guilt against memory retention. You stop at a highlighted note. Subject shows strong resistance to fixed memory. Requires external cues to trigger awareness, visual, auditory, olfactory. Most effective cue. Subject L. So Lena wasn't just a victim. She was the tether, the mirror, the memory. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You pressed the cassette into an old player you forgot you owned. The tape was Lena's voice. I keep waking up in different versions of him. He's kind, then he's cruel, then he's blank. He says he's trying to fix it, but every version leaves me more broken. Then silence, then your voice slurred, low, barely human. I don't want to remember hurting you, so I made us both forget. It was never about the truth, it was about control. The tape ends with a click. You sit motionless. The rain taps at the window, softer now, like a knock, like someone waiting. You walk toward it, pull the curtain aside. Across the street, the second-floor window in the old brick building is lit. Lena stands there, no longer a silhouette. She's watching you. Expression unreadable. Then she raises her hand. Between her fingers, a lighter. She flicks it once, then again, and finally, flame. She holds it beside a page. You can't read the words, but you know it's a letter, a confession, yours. She holds your gaze as it burns, and then she disappears into shadow. You stumble back, heart thudding like a ticking clock. That same perfume still lingers in the air. You turn toward the door just in time to see a photo slide under it. You pick it up. It's you, standing behind Lena, a hand on her shoulder. She looks terrified, but what pulls your stomach to your knees? Your other hand is holding a syringe, the window left open. You drop the photo like it burns. The syringe, your hand, her fear. It's not just another clue, it's a line in the sand, a memory fighting its way to the surface. You stumble backward, away from the door, away from the evidence, and that's when you feel it. A breeze. You turn. Your bedroom window is open, but you never opened it. The curtains flutter like they're trying to tell you something, whispers made of fabric and wind. You approach cautiously. On the windowsill, soaked with rain, lies a manila envelope, larger than the last, wrinkled. The corner is dark with what you first assume is water, but when you touch it, your fingers come away red. Inside is a single item, a file folder, labeled Case Closed, Lena Doran. You freeze. It shouldn't exist. She's not dead. You just saw her. But inside the folder are crime scene photos, low resolution, grainy, taken from strange angles, her face turned to the wall, her hands pale, blood pooled near her shoulder. Another page, cause of death, unknown, suspected overdose, date of death, March 12th, time of death, 12. Ahem. You knew, but pretended you didn't. And beneath that, a typed note clipped to the bottom. If subject returns to this point, initiate reset protocol. Memory breach confirmed. Physical anchors must be neutralized. You back away. What does physical anchor mean? You think of the photos, the gloves, the cassette, the mirror. You glance toward it now, and in it you see Lena standing behind you. You spin. Nothing. But the breeze has picked up. The scent of her perfume is stronger now, cloying, sharp, like rose petals dipped in ammonia. You check the hallway mirror again. Different image. You wearing the gloves, holding the syringe, leaning over her. In the reflection, your face is calm, practiced, rehearsed. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. You grab the photo from the floor again, flip it over. There's handwriting now that wasn't there before. Stop running. Open the closet. Your breath catches. You know which one. You open the hallway closet slowly, like something might lunge. Inside, just your old coats, but the floorboard beneath them creaks. You kneel, pry it up. There's a box inside, rusted shut, but you crack it open. Inside, another syringe, a reel of tape marked trial number 1, visual feed, a small velvet bag. You open the bag, inside a gold necklace. You've seen it before. Lena wore it in every photo. You'd forgotten it had a locket. You snap it open. Inside a grainy photo of the two of you. Her smiling, you looking away. Your mouth open like you're whispering something. Beneath the locket, a slip of paper. This is where you lost her. You collapse onto the floor. The storm outside rising like judgment. It was never about the truth. It was about control. And the more you remember, the more the story unravels. Because maybe you didn't just forget. Maybe you chose to. The window slams shut behind you. And the hallway mirror. Now it's cracked straight down the middle, splitting you cleanly in two. The tape you hid in childhood. The velvet bag slips from your hand. You don't pick it up. Your fingers feel distant, like they belong to someone else now, like you're only borrowing this body for a little while longer. The locket stares up at you from the floor, half open, half truth. You clutch the reel of tape marked trial number 1, visual feed. Something about the label digs into you, not just fear recognition, like you've read it before in a dream where every word dissolved the moment you woke. You plug in the old projector buried in the back of the closet. It shouldn't even work, and yet, when you feed the tape in, the bulb flickers to life with a low mechanical hum, dust swirling in its beam like memories floating just out of reach. The image flickers onto the white closet wall, black and white footage. A basement, familiar, concrete floor, children's toys in the background, cracks in the ceiling like branching veins, and in the center of the room, a child, you, maybe 10 years old, sitting cross-legged, silent, eyes unfocused. Another figure stands behind you, face obscured by shadows, Voice distorted. What do we say when we see her? The child. You doesn't answer. The voice repeats. What do we say when we see her? Then the child whispers. Confess. You flinch. The figure nods. Good. Again. Confess to. The screen fuzzes. The camera shakes. A new image appears. Still the basement. But years later. You're older now. A teenager. Same cracked walls. Same hunched posture. This time, you're holding a Polaroid of Lena. You stare at it. Not crying, not angry. Just blank. The voice returns. You'll forget the pain, but you'll remember the guilt. That's how we make it real. The tape ends abruptly. Silence floods in. So loud it hurts. You eject the reel. Beneath the projector's table is an old wooden toy chest, painted blue, chipped at the corners. You recognize it. You haven't seen it since you were a kid. Your fingers hesitate on the latch, then open it. Inside, a worn stuffed rabbit, a broken cassette player, a notebook, child's handwriting on the cover. For Lena. You open it, page after page of drawings, stick figures, two people, always holding hands, one taller, one smaller, sometimes smiling, sometimes crying. The smaller one is always labeled Lena, the taller one, sometimes D, sometimes me, sometimes just. The last page is different, written in darker ink, shakier handwriting. If I forget again, tell her I didn't mean to. If she's gone again, bring her back. If I disappear, find the mirror. It was never about the truth. It was about control. But maybe it started before you even knew what control meant. You flip back to the first page of the notebook. A photo is taped there. You and Lena, children, in a hospital room, smiling. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You rush back to your laptop and search the hospital's name, partially visible on a sign in the photo background. Fairmont Psychiatric Center. Closed 10 years ago. You check the address. It's only 6 blocks away. You stare out the window. The rain has stopped, but something worse hangs in the air now. Not a storm, a memory, waiting to be unlocked. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones, especially the children who grew up rehearsing guilt before they understood it. The voice in your head isn't yours. You leave the apartment with the notebook in your coat pocket, the projector still warm behind you, and the weight of 1,000 fractured memories pressing against your skull, like hands trying to pry it open from the inside. The streets are empty, not quiet empty, not a car, not a pedestrian, not even the hum of distant traffic, just your footsteps, clicking against the sidewalk like a metronome counting down to something you can't stop. As you near Fairmont Psychiatric Center, the air changes, colder, thinner, like even oxygen remembers what happened here. The hospital looms in the distance, long abandoned, windows like blind eyes, vines curling through bricks. The front gates hang open, not rusted or chained, just open, waiting. You step through. The courtyard is overgrown, grass rising like forgotten whispers. The front door groans open under your hand, as though the building breathes. You enter. Dust coats everything in gray. The reception desk, the wheelchairs, the cracked tiles underfoot. But one thing is clean. The mirror, tall, oval, planted in the lobby where no mirror belongs. You walk toward it. It doesn't reflect you. At first. Then, slowly, a shape emerges. Not you, not quite. Your body, different posture. Eyes locked on you, but not yours. You raise your hand. The reflection doesn't. It smiles and speaks without sound. You hear it in your head. I didn't lie. You just forgot to listen. You blink, and now you're back in a hallway. No idea how you got there. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. The smell of disinfectant and metal fills your nose. A door ahead. Room 214. You know what it is before you open it. Inside is a single chair, a single camera, a table with a folder, another envelope. This one reads, Cycle 5 Initiation. Your hands tremble as you open it. Inside, a list of names. Yours, Lena's, Aaron's, Detective Ryland. Then a final name, underlined in red, echo subject, D.M. You flip to the second page. It's a transcript. Echo 5. Initial resistance. Present. Subject recalls past trial. Memory convergence approaching. Voice fragment detected. Internalized echo may be assuming narrative. You stop reading because the voice is back. Not a whisper this time. A sentence right in your skull. You're not the one remembering. You freeze. What? You're the one being remembered. And suddenly, everything lurches, like your stomach dropped through the floor. You look at your hands. They're shaking, but not from fear, from rejection. You glance at the mirror again somehow, now hanging on the far wall, closer than it should be. You walk toward it and see yourself again. But the other you isn't standing still anymore. He speaks out loud. I needed a version of me that could forget. You stumble back. No, you weren't supposed to last this long. You weren't supposed to wake up. His eyes gleam. You were the rehearsal. You knew, but pretended you didn't. He steps forward. The glass should stop him, but it doesn't. The surface ripples. He steps through. Now he's real, whole, alive. You back away, heart hammering. Where's Lena? She's the key. You're the lock. I just had to test the right combination. He reaches into your coat, pulls out the notebook. You didn't even feel him do it. Time to reset. You look down at your chest. There's a syringe in your hand. Where did it come from? Why is it so familiar? You look up. He's gone. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. And suddenly, you understand. You're not the original. You're the echo, the loop, the rehearsal, the truth in reverse. You're still gripping the syringe, though you don't remember lifting it. Your fingers fit it too well, like it belongs there, like it always has. The voice, your voice, not your voice, fades into silence, but its residue clings to your thoughts like smoke. You're not the original, you're the echo. You look at the glass again. The mirror no longer shows you. It shows Lena, sitting in a white room, pale, breathing, watching, and next to her, a file labeled Cycle 5 Active. She mouths something silently. Again and again, you lean in, try to read her lips. It takes a second, then you catch it. Don't trust your memories. The mirror goes black. You stagger back, into the hallway, into the world that might not be yours. And then you hear it. Click. A recorder. You look down. It's already playing in your pocket. The same cassette from earlier, except it wasn't there before. But it's playing now. Not forward. Reverse. You hold it to your ear. Static. Then, Emitia Utpa Gnigo Tsuchton Saw. Imaga Soti. Noise Serp Mina Tsuchton Soti. Voita Cool Reven Yehetaditke. You rewind. Slow it. Reconstruct it mentally. Then you play it forward. It wasn't just an impression. It was a game. I wasn't just dodging up to time. And they never look at you. You hear your voice again, this time clean, crisp. There is no first time. There's just the time you remember first. and the time you wish you'd forgotten. A click, a hiss, then, Lena, he said, guilt only matters if you rehearse it. You pause the tape because the room around you has changed again. You're standing in a small chamber now. You don't remember walking here, but everything inside is laid out like a crime scene you were meant to rediscover. A table, a chair, and a device you've never seen before. Old reel-to-reel audio, stacked beside a stack of labeled tapes, each one marked with a number. 1, 2D, 5, all labeled trial, subject. D, Marshall. You insert tape 5. It spins, plays. Facilitator voice. Subject now fully immersed. Cognitive dissonance evident. Rehearsal functioning. Voice recognition loop initiated. Then your voice soft, lost. I can't tell what's real. Every time I find her, she disappears again. Every time I think I did it, someone else takes the blame. I don't even know if I'm the one hurting her or saving her. Then, Lena, he's both. You press eject because it's all unraveling now. You walk to the wall. On it is a mural hidden under torn wallpaper. A timeline drawn in circles, labeled cycles, each with notes. Cycle 1, unaware. Cycle 2, regressed. Cycle 3, violent response. Cycle 4, partial awakening. Cycle 5, echo resisting reset. You look at the space beneath it. Cycle 6, pending. Your name is already there, half written. It was never about the truth. It was about control. And maybe now, finally, you see, the guilt isn't proof of innocence. It's the trap. The tape in your hand rewinds again, unprompted. Then a final message plays. A voice you haven't heard before. Your mother's. He always needed to be the hero. Even when he played the villain, he needed to be the center of the story, just like his father. The line clicks off. You drop the tape. You turn to the wall again and grab a marker from the desk beside it. And for the first time, you write something new. Not a confession, not a name, just a question. Who was I before the rehearsal? But the marker doesn't leave a mark. The ink is dry, and your reflection in the window behind you. He's writing something else, a phrase you're starting to hate, a phrase that won't stop chasing you. Rehearse again. The victim's final message. You don't sleep. You sit in that chair, in the room with the wall that mapped your mind, watching the words in your reflection move faster than you can read. Rehearse again. Rehearse again. Rehearse again. It's not a suggestion. It's a sentence. But something in you resists now. The part that kept looking. The part that wouldn't accept the guilt until it bled. And that part wants to end it. You rise. Pocket the dry marker like it might matter later. Take the old photograph of Lena from your coat. She's half smiling, mid-blink. Unaware you're behind the camera, and you head back into the corridor. Guided by instinct more than memory, the hallway curves unnaturally, like the building's folding itself around you. At the end, a steel door, a keypad beside it, scratched, rusted, but intact. You stare at it, and your fingers move without thinking. O3 Woodloo. The door hisses open. Inside a small office, dust coats everything, except for a single folder on the desk and a recorder beside it. You press play. Lena's voice. If you found this, you remembered too much, or not enough. Either way, I need you to hear me say it. You weren't always like this. They changed you. Maybe not with drugs, maybe not with machines, but they made you believe this loop was you. I was the last thing they couldn't rewrite. The voice trembles now. but not with fear, with grief. You told me to run, that when it started again, I should never come back. But I did. I watched you become someone else, over and over, even when you forgot me. A click, a shift in tone. You said guilt would save you. It didn't. The tape ends with one final sentence. So if this is the end, make it yours. You sit. Open the folder. Inside every letter you've ever written, every confession, dated, catalogued, looped. But on the very last page, her handwriting. It's not about forgiveness. It's about ending the story before it writes you again. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You glance up and she's there. Not a hallucination, not a memory. Lena, standing in the doorway, hair wet from rain, eyes exhausted, real. She steps forward, slowly, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. You rise. She places something in your hand, a mirror shard, from the old hallway mirror. You turn it over, expecting to see your reflection, but you see hers instead. And behind her images, rooms, rehearsals, versions of you, all watching her, all repeating the same script, all wearing the same gloves. You drop the shard, and Lena speaks out loud for the first time in years. You asked me to save you, but you were the one who wrote the confession. You always were. You shake your head. I didn't mean to. That's not enough anymore. Her voice is steady now. No more rehearsals. No more resets. She reaches into her coat, pulls out a matchbook, strikes one. The fire hisses. We burn the script. Tonight, everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. But you're not silent anymore. You take the match from her, turn to the folder, and let it burn. The hand that signs again. The folder catches fire fast like it's been waiting. The ink runs first, curling into smoke, as if the words themselves are trying to escape. The matchbook drops from your fingers. You don't need another. One was enough. You and Lena watch the flames from opposite sides of the desk. Between you, the letters your rehearsals curl into ash. The words that kept you trapped now crackle and die like dried leaves. But fire doesn't cleanse. It just consumes. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Lena steps back, hand shielding her face. But her eyes don't leave yours. What happens now? You glance down. Your hand is shaking again. No writing again. Somehow, a pen is in it, and it's already moving across a new page, a blank one. You don't know where it came from. The paper fills with words before you know what they say. The letters are your handwriting, but your arm feels disconnected, possessed. The pen scratches across the surface faster than thought I did it. I watched her fall. I left her in the motel. Then I forgot. Then I asked to forget, and they let me. But she didn't. Your breath catches. You drop the pen, but the page keeps writing, line after line in your own voice, without your will. Rehearse again, confess again, forget again, and finally reset. Cycle 6. You back away, but the pen keeps scratching. Lena grabs your wrist. You flinch, but she's not afraid anymore. You don't have to sign this time. You glance down. The last line of the page now waits for your signature. A blank line. Your name, faintly visible beneath it, like it's already there in ghost ink. You stare at it, then up at her. Can I stop it? She nods once, but you notice her hesitation. She doesn't believe you will. You take a deep breath, step toward the desk, and pick up the pen. She opens her mouth, maybe to stop you, maybe to say goodbye. But instead of signing, you flip the paper over, and you write a single word, no. You slam the pen down. The lights flicker. The mirror on the wall cracks once loudly like a gunshot, and everything pauses. The fire freezes mid-flicker. The smoke hangs in place. Even Lena, her mouth open, eyes wide, like a photograph. You step back and see the page curl into the air on its own, hovering. It flips again, and this time, a new phrase begins to appear. Not your handwriting, not hers, something else. Alternate path unlocked. Narrative deviation confirmed. The mirror splinters further through the cracks. You see another room. Not this one. Not the motel. Not the courthouse. But a white, sterile space. A lab. And in that room, you, unconscious. Wires trailing from your head. A screen displaying looping phrases. Cycle 6. Failure. Subject has resisted reset. Proceed with manual deletion. You shout. The mirror ripples again. But now, it's Lena's voice behind you, still frozen, yet speaking. You stop the rehearsal, but you're still inside the story. Now you have to break it. And that's when the room shatters. The paper, the flame, the mirror, the desk. Everything explodes into black static. And when the noise clears, you're standing in a corridor made of memory. Every door is labeled. Room 312, Echo Lab, FAR, Motel I check-in, Cycle 1, Trial 3. And at the very end of the hall, a single white door, no label. Just a single question etched above it. Will you still be you? If you leave, everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. But sometimes silence is the only way out. The ending that loops. You walk down the corridor lined with your past. Every door you pass whispers as you near it. Voices you almost remember. Rooms you almost escaped. Each handle you resist turning is a version of you pulling on the other side, begging for another chance, another take, another rehearsal. But you don't open them. Not this time. At the end of the corridor, the unlabeled white door waits. You reach out. The metal is cold like memory. Just before it turns real, etched into the handle are words too faint to read. Or maybe you're not supposed to. You open it. Inside, only light. No walls, no shadows, no Lena, no mirrors. Just a desk and a typewriter. Old, heavy, familiar. You step closer and see a single page already rolled in, centered on the paper. This is the part where you forget again. Beneath it, the line waits, blinking, waiting for you to write the first word. You hesitate. Your hands tremble, not with fear, but with clarity, because now you understand. The trap wasn't the guilt, or the mirror, or Lena. The trap was the story, and you've been telling it to yourself all along. You pick up the keys. Each one is dusty, stiff, but your fingers remember where they go. You type, I don't need another version. I don't need another cycle. This is where it ends. The typewriter clicks once more, on its own, then let it end, and the light dims. You find yourself standing outside your apartment again. Morning, normal. No rain, no ticking, no letters on the counter. But something is different. The mirror in the hallway is clean, uncracked. Your reflection holds still. No extra shadows, no ghost behind you. You check your wrist. No ink, no number, no glove. And when you open your coat pocket, it's empty. Not even the photograph. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. But silence, real silence, feels different than it used to. You exhale. Your phone buzzes once. Unknown number. Just a single message. Are you still rehearsing? You look up at your reflection one more time and whisper, no. Then you delete the message. and walk out the door. No reset, no loop, just steps forward 300. Word. Wind down. You're back now, listener. The tape has stopped spinning. The clock has resumed its soft, natural tick. And the mirror, well, the mirror's just a mirror again. Was any of it real? Maybe, maybe not. But you felt it, didn't you? That cold place in your mind where memory becomes suggestion, where guilt becomes choreography, where you begin to question not just what happened, but who you were when it did. And maybe that's the scariest part. Not the loop, not the crime, but that flicker of recognition when the story looks back at you. Because some doors never truly lock, some faces never really leave the mirror, and some confessions don't require blood, only belief. You made it through. You remembered. Or maybe you chose not to. Either way, the rehearsal's over. For now, sleep well and watch your back. End of script. Sleep well and watch your back.